Hey Laker fans, welcome into today's show where I'm going to be breaking down some news and rumors revolving around the preseason and a player that's not currently a Laker but that you might want to know about a little bit later in the show. Let's start off with the man of the hour, the man of the preseason, Talen Horton-Tucker. And man, I haven't talked to you guys since this dude has just been popping off in the first two games for the Los Angeles Lakers. Obviously no LeBron, no Anthony Davis. Gives Horton-Tucker a bit more of an opportunity to shine in these early preseason games. He has been, by far, everybody else is playing besides LeBron and Anthony Davis, and he has been by far the most impressive player to watch on the floor on a consistent basis. In fact, Frank Vogel went as far to say that he's making his job tougher because Frank Vogel has to figure out the rotations, and now that Talen Horton-Tucker is all of a sudden turning into an all-star, it makes it a little bit more difficult. We're going to pump the brakes a little bit because it is the preseason, but I do want to break down the last two games, the first two games, I should say, of the preseason as they enter their final game tomorrow to tune up against the Phoenix Suns. But game one, it was solid. It was good. I think everybody was happy with what they saw. 19 points, 4 assists, 9 rebounds. Didn't shoot it that well from three, but he got a lot of time to play in 37 minutes. And then all of a sudden, game two comes around, and Talen Horton-Tucker flips a switch. 33 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 of 5 from three, and not even on that graphic I didn't show you, 4 steals in that game. I've talked about it before on this show. The wingspan of Talen Horton-Tucker makes him a gritty defender that can help out in multiple positions. He's listed as a guard, but he can defend probably guys that are all the way up to the power forward position because of that length. If you were watching here on Chat Sports last year during the draft, I gave the Lakers an A+ for this pick, and I think we're starting to see why that's happening. But it is the preseason. And we all know how overreactions to the preseason can be. In fact, Anthony Bennett during the preseason, if you guys are old enough to remember, because I know I sure am, he looked like a star in the preseason. I don't even know where Anthony Bennett is now, so let's take it a little bit easy. But is this a little bit of a fluke, or is this the real deal from THT? Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. I don't think you should ever expect 33 points in an NBA game from Talen Horton-Tucker, but I think a double-digit average, if he's getting 20-plus minutes a night, wouldn't be that bad. Now, Horton-Tucker has been so good, in fact, in the preseason that among the players that have played at least 2 games, he's scored more points per game than any of them. More than the 2-time MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo. You see the Kyle Kuzma, I haven't even talked about him, but he's been impressive too at 21.5 points per game. Devin Booker matches Kyle Kuzma, and RJ Barrett has been good as well. But when you see those names up there, besides Giannis, of course, who played an unreasonable amount of minutes in that second game against the Dallas Mavericks, these aren't the big-time guys you're going to see in the MVP conversation, right? Talen Horton-Tucker's been great, but he's also played more minutes than most people ever would in the preseason. And if you want more preseason coverage, if you want more Talen Horton-Tucker coverage, subscribe to the channel today. Who knows? Maybe I'll do a whole video on THT here soon, and who knows? Maybe he can win Most Improved Player of the Year this next year. You never know. But if you want more coverage of your Los Angeles Lakers, this link, over here, right here, youtube.com/LakersTV, that's the place to be. Subscribe and turn on your notifications today. Let's talk about Giannis Antetokounmpo because that's what the entire NBA world is discussing. And, of course, the Lakers, who are always at the center of the NBA world, and now Giannis, who's currently at the center of the NBA world, they will always be intertwined, and they are here. Now, there were always rumors and discussions and fan speculation about whether or not the Lakers would actually have a chance at Giannis when he was supposed to become a free agent in 2021. Well, that's no longer. In fact, that door, which was already basically completely shut, maybe it had a little pinky toe holding it open, it is completely slammed shut because Giannis has signed a 5-year supermax deal worth $218 million. He's now guaranteed $256 million over the next 6 seasons. And now the Lakers didn't have a lot of money to play with anyway in 2021. In fact, if it were to actually happen, they would have had to move around a ton of money, probably trade away a lot of contracts, and had to make a lot of cuts to the roster that they currently really can't maneuver around Giannis. So at the end of the day, it was never that realistic. But I think we can just put it to rest now because Giannis is set to become a Buck for at least the next 6 years. And I think one of the bigger, more interesting stories for the Lakers in this position is the fact that Kostas Antetokounmpo is still a member of the Lakers. As a two-way player, yes, but still on the team. What's next for him? Because I'm going to be honest, and you know what? You might not like me for this, but if Kostas' name was anything other than Antetokounmpo, he would not be under contract right now. That's just the way it is. And so I would not be surprised to see the Lakers potentially cut Kostas and go and move on from him and pick up another two-way player. I mean, Antetokounmpo, the younger one, that is, in 2 preseason games, he plays the first game for about 27 minutes. He scores 1 point. And then the next game, he got a DNP coach's decision in preseason. That's hard to do. So, not looking good for Kostas, but it's looking even worse for Giannis to the Lakers. Now let's get into some more newsy stuff here as the preseason continues to wind down. The Lakers have made 2 cuts. They've now gotten their roster down to 14 guaranteed spots, with Quinn Cook having another contract, or has a non-guaranteed contract as well. We'll talk more about him here in just a minute. And of course, Kostas and Devontae Cacok are the two-way players. But my dream of the Trez Tinkle Devontae Cacok lineup is officially dead, because Trez Tinkle has been cut from the team. And he might go and play with the South Bay Lakers. No official word on that yet, but the South Bay Lakers themselves might not even be playing, because there is the G League bubble that we're still getting details on. But as of right now, we're not sure whether or not the Lakers will send that team, their G League team, to that bubble, which means potentially the end of Trez Tinkle. But with Christmas right around the corner, with the holidays right around the corner, you need to get your Christmas shopping done. I got you covered. Chatsports.com/Lakers jerseys. There are awesome deals going on for a limited time only. If you're watching this on Tuesday, this deal right now, 65% off all jerseys for a very limited time. If you're watching this at a later date, there's still an awesome deal with that link. You can go check it out at chatsports.com/Lakers jerseys. You can get a LeBron jersey and a D jersey. Heck, go get yourself a Talen Horton-Tucker uniform while you still can. It's all there at chatsports.com/Lakers jerseys. Now, Trez Tinkle wasn't the only Laker cut over the weekend. Xavier Simpson out of Michigan was an undrafted free agent. He's actually the first pickup for the Lakers in the offseason, and he has been cut as well. Listen, at the end of the day, if you're Xavier Simpson, you were a 6-foot guard whose offensive game was based on a running hook shot. Probably not going to stick around in the NBA very long. It makes sense that he got cut, but he could be a fun project in the G League to kind of monitor. And really, these two guys both had pretty solid senior years. Trez Tinkle, of course, at Oregon State. I just love saying that name. And then Xavier Simpson at Michigan. Xavier Simpson actually led the nation in assists, I believe it was, and he continues to impress in that area. But we never even saw him in assists in the preseason, excuse me. And then Trez Tinkle was just a forward that knew how to score the ball. And he did it well in his senior season. But now, neither of them are on the Lakers, and the Lakers have an open roster spot. And so I want to ask you guys who you want to see get that final spot. Because with 14 guaranteed contracts, they can still hand out one more. Maybe a guy like Trevor Ariza could become available. Maybe you want Pau Gasol back in the purple and gold. Let me know who you want that last roster spot filled by in the comment section. Or maybe you want it filled by Quinn Cook, who is currently under a non-guaranteed contract, which means the Lakers could cut him before the season starts for absolutely no price and not have to worry about paying him anything under the cap. But the problem that I've had with Quinn Cook was not just his underwhelming performance last season, where he shot worse than 37% from 3 and only scored 5 points per game. My bigger problem has been the 2 totally opposite games we've gotten from him in the preseason. He got similar minutes in both of those games, but in one, he puts up 7 points on 16% shooting. You can't be a dead-eye 3-point shooter and shoot 16% from 3 in the preseason. But then on the other hand, you look at what he did in 30 minutes in Game 2 when the Lakers and Clippers just, were on an offensive scoring match. Quinn Cook had 14 points, 7 assists. He created well from others, and he was 4 of 5 from 3. So if the Lakers can basically be guaranteed or promised that they'll get Game 2 version of Quinn Cook, who knows, maybe 50% more of the time than they would get Game 1 version of Quinn Cook, heck, give him that guaranteed money. Give him that 15th spot. Do you really want to go out and pay a 40-year-old Pau Gasol who hasn't played basketball in 2 years? Or do you want to play a guy that can come in and give you a 3-point bucket every once in a while in, a 5 to 10 minute spurt? Kind of up to you guys, but let me know in the comment section. Do you want Quinn Cook on a guaranteed deal? You guys get to decide. Now, I did want to talk about Montrezl Harrell, probably the most exciting new Los Angeles Laker, as he has come in and has just wrecked shop in preseason. His activity has been absolutely outstanding. He comes in, he plays hard every single night. His defense has been wildly underrated, I think, these 2 preseason games. And yes, it's preseason, not going to take too many takeaways from that. But when you block 2 shots in each of the last 2 games, that's a pretty good look. And overall for the preseason, he's been putting up 16 and 12, also passing the ball at a decent rate. I would be excited. I was already excited if you were a Laker fan about Montrezl Harrell, but now actually getting to see him in game time action, you got to be even more pumped to get him in there. I think he's been a lot of fun. I think he'll be a lot of fun during the regular season as well. I think the only problem I have with Trez is the fact that he tries to take too many jump shots. And maybe it's just because it's preseason, he wants to test things out. But, man, just stay around the rim. You're like a 70% shooter around the rim. Don't worry about extending your range all that much. So maybe it's Trez. It's probably Talen Horton-Tucker. But let me know, who has been your favorite Laker to watch in preseason over the first 2 games? You got one more game coming up. I'll break it all down for you here on the channel. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.